refineries, and processing plants. The planet is a vast powerhouse of industry, making thousands and thousands of different items for use throughout nearby planetary systems. In the darkness of the Underhive, fights between the clan houses over the limited resources are a way of life for the citizens of Necromunda. What type of man would play a game like this?
Oh, I really love you. Oh yeah, I really love you too. Yeah, now kiss. My name's Rob, and this is Cal Rabbit Scale Model Studios. So, a little while back, I made this cool test tube thing for my Gene Stealer cults in Necromunda. I had a really good time making it, but I wanted a bit more bespoke scenery. So I had the idea of making some tiny little body bags. I think this is the type of thing that the Gene Stealer cults would probably experiment on and things like that. I did do a little post on Instagram how I did these a little while back, and a few people sent me a video from a guy called Zebamunda. Toby, he's a really nice guy, and I wanted to do a video on how I did mine, so I reached out to him. We ended up having a little brainstorming session, and we came up with some really cool ways of jazzing up these cool body bags. So we decided to do a few each. I'm going to do 3, he's going to do 3. I will link his video in the description and pinned comments below, so do go and check out his video. They're really easy to make, really fun, and add lots of flavour to your Necromunda Underhive. So for the ones I'm going to show you how to make today, we are going to need a few things. These are all readily available. This is just some simple yellow twine. Most craft shops sell this, or normally biscuit tins, especially at Christmas. Then I've got an assortment of little cable ties, just various colours. Here I've got some Army Painter razor wire. This is another fantastic product from the Army Painter. It bends really easily and is going to give a great effect for what we're going for. Then this is just a little black bag. Anything like that will do. I've got some Daz air drying clay. You could use blue tack, you could use just a little bit of normal clay. I like this because it air dries and goes quite tough. And then we've got this old bag for life, which I'm going to put to a greater use because I like the different colours. It comes with a yellow and a green, which I think are really going to add some cool colours to our body bags. So the first thing we're going to need to do is make some little tiny body shaped things. I like Daz air drying clay because it dries hard. Unfortunately, I didn't wrap this up properly and I managed to just get a little bit out of the end that hadn't sealed. The way I make these is the scale I look at is a normal model. I've got a little Gene Stealer cults guy here. I just put it next to him, a normal human, that's about fine. But all I effectively do is I pinch the ends together to make a head, and I push the bottom down to give the impression of feet once it's wrapped up in the bag. But any kind of milk bottle shape will do. If you like Haribos, you know what I mean here. Cola bottle shape, anything like that will do, and it will sell the effect. So the first thing we need to do is cut our material to go over our dead body, bit of clay, milk bottle, whatever you want to use. To do this, I cut off a bit of excess. You don't need too much, just enough to make sure that the actual whatever you're using for a body is perfectly wrapped. It's also important to note that I'm leaving a little bit extra above and below. This is to cover the feet and the head sections so nothing's showing. Unless that's what you're going for and you have painted a miniature and wrapped it up, by all means cut them at wonky angles and wrap them wonky. That will look really cool. So the next thing we're going to do is just using some really super cheap super glue. We're just going to put a really good amount on the back of the dead body. I don't want to keep saying that. And we're going to just hold it in place for a couple of seconds until it's firmly fixed. I do this towards one end of the material. Now it's firmly glued. I repeat this process, but this time I put a good amount of super glue on the head and the feet area. Obviously be careful, super glue is designed for sticking things together, and this wasn't the first take on doing this. And all I do is I fold the tops over to make these little wing sections. I hold them in place and I repeat it for the feet sections. Just ensuring everything is held down really nicely and is not going anywhere. The next step, while making sure the wing sections are folded inwards, as you can see here, what I do is I use my middle fingers and I just roll the piece back to me. What I'm doing is I'm making this quite a tight roll, just to ensure that it shows off the shape of the body that I've made in here. Just take your time. This bit can be a little bit fiddly while you get the idea of it, but when you get to about one turn away, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with some more super glue, and I'm just going to give a really good coating to this kind of excess bit hanging here. I don't want this flapping up or coming undone or anything like that. Even though we are going to tie it, it just makes working the next step a little bit easier. And then all I do is I do my final roll and I really push down on the body just to ensure that everything is nice and secure, held together and not going anywhere. That's effectively the same process for all of the materials I'm going to be using today. And all I do is I fasten them differently. So here I've got my yellow twine. Once again, I've got fat fingers. There's a knack for doing this, and trust me, you will get quicker every time. I roll it out and I loop it round quite a few times, pulling quite tightly, just so you can show off, you know, that it's a head wrapped up, which is something I never imagined I'd be saying. You can pull both ends like I'm doing here, just to make sure that there's, you know, not a lot of slack and things like that. I cut off the excess, and then really it's just a case of tying two very small little knots. Now, if you wanted to, you could secure this with super glue. But obviously sometimes super glue dries a bit white and I didn't want to ruin the effect. So here I go. I tend to do one around the head, round by the feet, and I'll either do two in the middle somewhere, around about the arms and the legs, just to sell the effect. Just so when you look at it, you think, oh, it's a body wrapped up. You know, your brain will instantly recognize that it's something from the real world, but obviously on a lot smaller scale. So once again, just take your time with this section. It is fiddly, it is frustrating, but trust me, you do get quicker every time you do it. I can bang these out really, really quickly now, and I've got incredibly stumpy fingers. So there we go. That's exactly, you know, what I was going for. You can kind of see that it's wrapped up. You can see kind of where the feet would be sticking out and the head and stuff. To me, it's a great little way of adding atmosphere and things like that to the games. You can make these really, really quickly, but I would make these in batches if you so choose to. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some other designs that me and Zebamunda came up with, which were actually a lot of fun. So here I've cut up my lovely lime green bag for life. Same type of way. I've just cut it in a very similar size. This is a bit of like a mesh fabric. It's a lot more thicker than the actual stuff. I fold it exactly the same way, and then what I've done is I've got some little tiny cable ties. So same again on this one, I just wrap one around the head. Here I'm wrapping one around the feet. Once again, anything you do on this scale is going to be slightly fiddly, but just making sure the buckles were in the same position. I pulled them really nice and tight. Once again, because I'm using clay, I can afford to be a bit more firmer with things, and you know, really kind of make sure these are nice and tight on there, just to kind of get that really wrapped up look. And then all I do is I just nip off the excess with a little pair of sharp scissors. You could use hobby clippers or anything like that. I was going to paint these a silver colour to make it look like banded straps, but I kind of liked the yellow and red. It was quite colourful. You can draw on this material. I'm just using a little biro here, ballpoint thing to do a little radiation symbol. However, I do go over at the end with some Agrax Earthshade wash, and just make sure everything's really nice and dirty and quite fitting for my Necromunda scenery. And then here I do exactly the same thing again with this yellow piece of fabric. It's the same as the green. It was a little bit thicker to work with, so I did use a little bit of extra super glue, but I just made sure everything was wrapped up. With this one, I actually had some of this, which is the Army Painter Battlefield Razor. So I kind of wanted to wrap this up as if to, maybe this body might not stay dead, and it tells a little story, if you will. So very similar to how I did the yellow cord. Instead this time what I did, I cut off lengths, and then I started at the head, and once again I was able to really wrap this round quite tightly. I didn't want this to be perfectly straight because I imagined it would be kind of wrapped up all over the place to stop whatever that might be coming back to life, maybe, if it did, to not get out. So I actually went and I just made sure that the whole body was wrapped kind of from head to toe in this, but leaving gaps of the wire showing. And to finish this off, all I did was I twisted it round itself, because it's quite a thin wire and it's actually really easy to kind of work with, a lot so more than the twine. And as you can see here, I just actually sealed the knot off that I made, or little twist, just a little bit of super glue, just to ensure that nothing was going to come undone or anything like that. And all I did was I took my time and I just worked my way up and down this little body bag type thing to get the effect I wanted. And then I end up with something like this. I decided to come in with from Blood for the Blood God, and what I did was, using a bit of a wet brush, I just dabbed it around the barbed wire. Maybe something's leaked out of it, or maybe this body was a little bit hard to get hold of, and you know, there's been a few casualties somewhere. I like stuff like this because it tells a little story. Just that one tiny little item that if you really sat back and you looked at it, you would say, oh my god, you know, why is there blood on it? Why is it wrapped up in barbed wire? You know, why is it in a bright yellow sheet, not like a black one? It tells a little story, and I love stuff like that. So, you know, there we go. That was body bags 3 ways. Really easy to do. Once again, please do, before you do absolutely anything, don't even finish this video, go and check out Zebamunda. Toby is such a nice guy. He's so creative, and he's just got so many cool ideas, from moving, you know, mechanical doors like this, and to like smokestacks that just actually have atomizer in. He's an absolute wizard, and he has got some amazing stuff. So please do go check out his video and see what he comes up with. But that's it from me. If you like this, please do like and subscribe. And here comes the money shots. I'll see you all next time. God bless and take care.